Dylan Tyre and Nick Corey back with you at Cavelli Center, where Ohio State leads Minnesota 14-11. We're about set to go at the 165-pound weight class. It'll be 11th ranked Andrew Sparks for Minnesota going at it with Brock Herman, redshirt freshman for Ohio State, who's 13-4 this season. Another good matchup right here. Sparks 17-4, redshirt senior. We have seen this a lot, Nick, to this point. Some younger wrestlers going against upperclassmen that have lots of collegiate experience. We saw it in our last match at 157, Tommy Askey, a redshirt senior, going against a younger guy in Brandon Cannon, and we have it all over again with Brock Herman of Ohio State.
Yeah, we've had a good mix tonight because we've had some ranked opponents, you know, a handful of ranked opponents going against each other, which you can always predict should be a good match. And then we've had some of the young horses from both sides going against more experienced wrestlers on the other side, and they've turned those matches into pretty good matches. And so again, I believe we've only had 2 major decisions, and everything else has been a decision thus far. And so everybody came to wrestle, including those who you know, I'm not going to say on paper anymore the rest of this broadcast because on paper should you know, are disadvantaged as far as their seed or their rank or their experience, and it's been kind of
it hasn't mattered too much in this one.
Not at all, and that's why they're Big Ten wrestlers.
Sparks ranked 11th. He's in the black singlet for Minnesota. Again, Ohio State wearing those gray singlets. Brock Herman from Medina, Ohio, looking for another win for Ohio State here, who leads at 14-11.
Brock Herman, a redshirt freshman. As most Buckeye fans know, when they're out, this is usually Patty Gallagher's spot. It's a little dinged up from what right now, and so rather than risk you know, anything serious, Mr. Hardy, I'm sorry, Mr. Hardy, that's Brock Hardy from Nebraska. Brock Herman gets the nod, and if he follows suit of his teammates, he'll make this a tough, a good match. And Sparks in on the deep, trying to shelf that leg, go for the far, and he's able to do just that. Secure the takedown, puts in the leg, the cross body. Don't see the cross bodies just thrown in like that a whole lot anymore, a lot of times. But able to extend him here, and that's exactly where Sparks wants to be. When you've got the legs in, you want to extend your opponent and try to work some turns, put some pressure on his spine so that the discomfort, you know, makes going to one's back a little more attractive. But Herman's able to fight and keep the damage to just a takedown. So 3-0 Andrew Sparks as we head into the second period.
Andrew Sparks hails from Costa Mesa, California. I wouldn't say California necessarily known as the biggest wrestling state in the world, but a lot of people out there.
Yeah,
You're gonna have some quality wrestlers, right?
Yeah, a lot of good individuals come out of California, and they've actually had some programs, some high school programs that have made some noise on the national level. To your point, though, oftentimes we think of Pennsylvania or Ohio or New Jersey, and but California has certainly, and now I'm thinking of some of my California friends are like, Nick, you better talk us up. Because, no, they've certainly had their share of some studs. It's just traditionally we think of some of the the more traditional states that that where wrestling is known as one of the primary entities in high school sports. Got that crossbody right in, and now he's pulling that bow and arrow. He's got the pulling his chin to his up to his head, and that really torques the lower spine, and he's getting his back points. Looks like he's got the full count, full amount of swipes there. And now Hardy just needs to make sure, I'm sorry, I keep saying Hardy, Herman needs to make sure that he's able to fight, because Sparks is looking for the grand poobah of them all, you know, a 6-point traditional pin. And this is the closest we've been.
Yeah, Herman's fighting
the entire match to somebody getting the full 6 points from a pin, and he's got 14 seconds, and that 14 seconds feels like an eternity when you're in that. But to Herman's credit, he fights the pain and is able to get out of that. But of course, with all the back points, we're now awfully close to only 4 points away from a tech fall.
Little blood for Brock Herman there, so he'll get cleaned up. But 11-0, Andrew Sparks leads.
Yeah, that's a tough technique and a tough hold to really fight. Again, it taxes just about everything as far as your lower back goes, your knee goes, and the refs always watch it closely, because something being painful doesn't mean it's going to be injurious, right? And so it's a tough sport. Sometimes pain happens, but the refs do a good job of watching closely just to make sure we're not entering to the degree that they're able. There's, as you can see, dominating quite a bit on top. And Herman just not really able to do a whole lot of much, but he comes out. What's nice to see, he comes out with a leg attack right away.
Crowd trying to get into it to support Herman here,
and they like what they see. You know, they, again, educated fans, and they know what wrestling is, and they saw how torqued and how much he had to endure while he had that bow and arrow on him. And he comes out firing right away, and then the home crowd appreciates that. So is it 11-0? Yes. Has he been pretty much, to be quite frank, dominated thus far? The answer is yes. But the fight that Herman's been able to display, especially firing off that shot right off the bat, is appreciated. But Sparks is able to execute a takedown off of that last shot, and now we're awfully close to at least a tech fall.
Yeah, you could see Gable Stevenson in the background right there, I think, telling Sparks one more point to get that tech fall. But of course, Herman does have one now, and so after that escape. And
Herman's job now is to just try to fend off a tech fall and just lose by a major.
Yeah.
Again, and that's his job as a member of the team right now. Coach Ryan, all the coaches have preached this, like, listen, even in defeat, you can help your team. By not giving up the maximum amount of points or fighting off at the end to prevent the next tier of points being awarded. And okay, so now he's really got to try to see this is that he's going to get the 3 in. Yep. He did what he could, and you know, Sparks just too much. Sometimes you run into someone who's a little bit of a buzzsaw compared to your experience. We've all been there. If you wrestled any length of time, it happens. And
well, Sparks provides a spark right there for Minnesota. He improves to 18.